Hi, my name is Dr. Megan Fay, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the chaining strategy for introducing new foods in ARFID. Welcome to the third video in my series on ARFID. I'm licensed psychologist Dr. Megan Fay. In my last video, I discussed how to get started on food exposure practice for introducing new foods into your diet. Today, I'm going to be talking about one specific strategy called chaining. What is chaining? Chaining is an exposure strategy where we progressively pair an already liked food with a new food. Then we slowly decrease the amount of the liked food while increasing the amount of the new food so that you're gradually eating the new food by itself. One common way that parents do this with kids without ARFID is by adding cheese to broccoli, and over time reducing the cheese until their child has gotten used to eating the broccoli on its own. Whether you're an adult with ARFID or a parent watching this video, you probably remember this strategy from your own childhood. The goal of chaining is to help the body and the brain learn to tolerate fear foods by pairing them with something you already enjoy. This gives you the chance to retrain disgust and gagging reflexes, but it also can change some of the negative associations you have with the fear food by eating it alongside the food you enjoy. Instead of just describing this to you, today we're going to do something a little bit different, and I'm going to give you a demonstration. Today I'm pairing a preferred food, ice cream, with a non-preferred food, strawberries. Many people with ARFID struggle with a food like strawberries for different reasons. Some people have cut out fruit as a whole food group, just all together. Some people struggle with the flavor, others with the texture, and still others have a fear of gagging or choking if they eat something like a strawberry. With a chaining exposure, you'll want to identify your core fear and target it specifically with the practice. Regardless of your specific core fear, there are some main features for chaining. The first is that we're taking a larger amount of the food you prefer and adding a very small amount of the food you fear. Then we want to slowly dose control ourselves to our fear or disgust by increasing the amount of the fear food over time while decreasing the preferred food and fading it out altogether. Something that I really want to emphasize with this practice is the principle of staying with disgust. Most people with ARFID experience an automatic disgust reaction when introducing an avoided food. This might mean screwing up your face or having the urge to spit it out, or just a general feeling of being super grossed out. We want to stay with that reaction. It's important to practice being disgusted and working to tolerate staying with it. We're trying to retrain this response, which is essentially your body's way of telling you that you're eating poison and it has to get rid of it. By staying with that feeling, your body can learn to tolerate the food and recognize that it's not dangerous. This doesn't guarantee that you'll learn to like the food, but it does mean you can learn to tolerate it. So, I'm going to take a very small piece of strawberry and mash it up, and then add it to a spoonful of ice cream. You may need to start smaller than this and just add a very tiny speck of strawberry. The goal for the first step is just to add enough to know it's there cognitively, but you can't really taste it or feel it. If ice cream is too difficult to disguise with, you could take a step back by mixing it in a blender with a milkshake and then slowly increase the amount of strawberry that's mixed in there until you've got a good even mix, and then slowly fade out the amount of ice cream that's in there. So first we'll start off with a tiny bit, and then I'm going to add more and more and work on having more solid pieces over time. So let's take a look. I've got my ice cream, I've got my mashed strawberries, and we'll just take a little tiny amount. There, it's on screen. This might be more than you would take, so let's see if I can get an even smaller piece. Here's a little piece. Again, you could start even smaller. Wherever you can start works, and we're gonna work up from there. So then we just put it in, maybe hide it a little bit. You know it's there. You might taste it, you might feel it. You can start off smaller, and we just eat it. And when you have that automatic disgust reaction, which obviously I'm not having because I do like strawberries and ice cream, but for you, if you have that urge to spit it out or you feel disgusted, stay with that feeling. And then from there, we can work to add bigger pieces. So we've got a more solid piece that you would want to add in to the ice cream. So again, depending on your specific core fear, you might want to change up how you engage with this chaining exposure. If your core fear is texture, then you want to hide the texture and slowly increase the texture over time. For instance, I've had clients who cut off the exterior of the strawberry to start, and then they work their way up to leaving some of the exterior behind by smashing it up. So they're literally taking the strawberry and like shaving off the outside and eating the inside first. Then you work towards eating the outside because it might have that texture because of the seeds, and you work up to having it there. So over time, you're resisting hiding it and experiencing it. If your issue is with flavor, hide one flavor inside of the other, like we just did with the ice cream. For instance, like in the example I just discussed, before of masking the flavor of broccoli by putting melted cheese on it, with strawberries, you could also try covering them with chocolate sauce. So adding in sauce is a great way of hiding something you don't really like, and then you can decrease the sauce over time. If you struggle with gagging or a fear of vomiting, the challenge will be to leave it in your mouth and then retrain your body's gag reflex and work your way up to swallowing very small amounts and slowly increasing the volume over time. This can help on a physical level when there's an automatic reaction. This is similar to what we're practicing when we're staying with that disgust reaction. That gag reaction might be automatic, but you can retrain the body's automatic reaction by staying with the disgust-provoking or gag-inducing experience and showing it that nothing dangerous happens when you do. This is physical learning alongside emotional learning. Another popular chaining technique that I use with a lot of my patients is using a quesadilla to introduce avocado or beans. Many of my clients avoid avocado for the texture and avoid beans for that bursting sensation that occurs when biting in, but they do like the flavors of cheese and tortilla of quesadilla. So we start off by hiding beans or avocado inside the quesadilla and then work up to putting it on top and then slowly work up to eating it by itself. So these are just different ideas for how you can work towards incorporating the foods you avoid with the foods you already eat. The Boston Children's Hospital has put together a really great handout on chaining, so I've included that in the notes below. Check that out. That also reviews some of the strategies we talked about in the last video about progressively engaging with food by smelling it, licking it, holding it in your mouth and spitting it out, and all of that. So it's a great resource. I hope this video provided a helpful primer for incorporating new foods into your diet. If you've liked this video, please rate and subscribe. I'm licensed psychologist Dr. Megan Fay. Thanks for watching, and check back soon for the next video in the series.